Okay, so let's do this. Wait.
Hi friends! So, we're here today to bring you our 2018 book resolutions video. I'm also throwing in a specific TBR because it has to do with one of my resolutions. We both want to reread a few things next year. One of our bookish resolutions, which we both have, is to reread stuff. So, I'm rereading the Harry Potter series, which is something I did in 2016, and I didn't get to do it this year, so I'm going to do it next year. And apart from that, Macky and I are also going to be reading the Tortle books in Tamara Pierce, by Tamara Pierce, because it's part of our Reading Tamara Pierce series, which is coming out early next year. That's part B.
Right.
And we're also doing that similar series.
So season two of,
is going to be Rick Riordan.
That's
so
right.
We're going to cover
that's our
all
season
of this
2.
stuff. And then the later season, hopefully also within next year, is going to be about the Aberson series by Garth Nix, which...
And I feel like it's, and just now when I was thinking about this resolution, I don't want to just read the Abhorsen series. I want to read all the other Garth Nix books too, because they're really good. Shade's Children, The Rag
I haven't read
Witch,
any of the other ones.
Frog Kisser,
so I guess we're
Newt's
gonna,
Emerald.
it's more like these things we do our author spotlights as opposed to just specific series. So yeah,
That's right.
So now let's call it a Garth Nix spotlight.
because there's
Abhorsen is my reread, but everything else will be new to me, so.
Right, so that's part of, you know, our mini projects, because we just love these tribute videos.
Yeah.
We love it. I mean, if you guys love it too, that's awesome. We love you guys for loving it. But if we feel for us, it's kind of almost like marking milestones.
Yeah.
Of why we just, you know, love these series so much, and they're the top of our shelves. So
plus it's always fun to reread, especially this year, because I've gotten to do it a lot. Like, I've reread a lot of my favorite things this year, and I'm just like, this has been so much fun.
Yeah.
I want to do it again.
Right, so season 1 is reading Tamara Pierce, season 2 would be reading Rick Riordan, season 3 would be reading Garth Nix. My second resolution would be to organize my TBR review pile and schedule my everything
way better
by
at that than I am,
first week of January. My plan is, I'm going to take every single book that I plan to read and then check all of the dates on them if they haven't already expired and have been published already, and then plot the days a few days before that to make sure that I finish reading and reviewing those books before those dates. So I'm very organized apparently in that sense. Don't expect me to organize my clothes or my things, but I will organize the information that I need to dole out. So
I have a sort of similar one, but mine is more just to focus on reading my TBR in general. Like, I managed to read quite a few books off of that this year, and I hope to continue doing that next year. I'm not quite as strict about this whole schedule thing because I've realized it really does depend on how I feel. Like, I know sometimes when I'm reading something, if I am reading it, let's say, to make a certain date, sometimes I can tell if I'm forcing myself to read it, and that's why I'm not enjoying it.
Yeah,
so
I wish I was like that. Because I'm gonna go full on Monica Geller with this thing, where I have my list, I have my schedule, and the books will be piled up in that order too, so I can just take them down in order.
Yeah, so that's sort of my variant of his
Monica Geller-ness.
Basically. Okay, what's your next one?
My next one would be find some way to attend BEA 2018.
I bet we'll be able to, hopefully. If we're lucky enough, we'll be able to go again.
Because it's kind of like a drug. I really need it now in my life.
It is really fun to attend BEA. It's such a good opportunity to network and to find out about books that maybe we hadn't heard of before, so fun times. That's not on my resolutions list, but I'm just saying.
It's funny she mentions network, because I'm like most bookworms where I'm like, I ain't talking to anybody. And if they do, I'm like, oh my god, yes, it's so nice that you like talk to me, but I also don't know what to say afterwards, and I don't want to look awkward, but here we are, and I feel like it's exactly the same thing the other people are thinking. So I feel I'm not the only one who's that socially awkward. I mean, I can totally fake, like, being like, you know, I'm not being polite, I am polite, but fake like knowing what I'm doing in a social situation. But at the end of the day, if I'm weird at BA, it's just because I'm weird. So there's that.
My next one actually has something to do with just a general goal that I set. So every year on Goodreads, I pick a numerical goal for my Goodreads reading challenge, and that's just for me, and it's not really something that I adhere to too strictly. So I'm just gonna stick with my same numerical goal as last year, which is, or this year, I mean 2017, and that's gonna be 150 books. So hopefully I get that read. I did manage to do it this year and I beat it by like 5 books, I think. So that's where my Monica Geller-ness comes in, because I'm really competitive with myself about that, so yeah. My
last reading resolution would be, I want to read 1 book or graphic novel on my always wanted to read that list.
Okay.
I have one. It's called The Wicked and the Divine.
Ooh, yes, that's
because
a good one.
that's really good. We saw them at Comic-Con this year, the writers and the artists, and because my friend was gonna have his copy signed, and that was special. That was awesome. But the rest of what's on this TBR is actually Alexa's like greatest hits.
Lee Bardugo!
Oh god, like Shadow and
Sarah J.
Bones. Just I've always liked things that are Shadow Scale, and just everything that Alexa kind of just has been ranting
Avalon.
and raving about. I have to at least read one every month.
Even
at
just one.
least one. Because
Lee
that's still
Bardugo is a good one.
because that's still 12 really, really good books that Alexa's read and reviewed and
We'll see.
spoken about. With the exception of Warcross, because she pushed that like
That one I was like, you must read this, and if you don't, I will disown you.
she pushed that like cookies
Dishonor
at,
on
like,
you!
she pushed that like cookies at a kindergarten. It's just he wants some free chocolate. It's you know, and of course we're like, yeah, we want it all. So there's that.
Okay, and my last goal is actually part of the reason why we're even making this video, and it's to read a classic every single month in 2018. I tried to do this in 2017, but because I wasn't as driven in terms of like what I wanted to do, and because I had other challenges that I was trying to meet, I didn't quite get to do this. But I am teaming up with my friend Kristen over at Super Space Chick, who has a very similar goal, and so we're sort of doing a casual classics reading challenge type thing.
Casual classics
Where
reading
we
challenge.
basically just pick a classic to read each
Rolls
month. So
off
we
the
actually
tongue.
sort of have tentative TBRs for this, so I'm just going to share mine. The book that I will be reading in January is Jane Eyre, because I've never read it. I know my friend Kelly absolutely loves it, and so does my friend Rachel, and my friend Hannah as well, so
Jane Eyre is written by
Charlotte Bronte.
Charlotte Bronte. Okay, cool.
Okay, and then in February I'm actually doing a reread. I'm going to be rereading 2 Jane Austen books. That's Pride and Prejudice and Sense and Sensibility. This one I have read 3 times, this one I've read once, so...
I want to read the one
Should be
that's
fun.
got zombies in them.
That's a different version
Pride and
entirely.
Prejudice and zombies.
In March, in time for the movie, I'm going to be reading A Wrinkle in Time by Madeleine L'Engle.
Oh, hey!
And I'm also going to be reading The Little Mermaid because a specific edition of it is coming out in March. It's going to be created by Mina Lima, who does such beautiful editions of books, so
yes.
that's exciting. And then I'm reading another Jane Austen book. Are you sensing a pattern yet? Mansfield Park.
I actually watched that one.
I haven't even seen it.
Like a friend of mine had it was video CDs back then. They had that one, and I said, hey, you using that? And they're like, no, all right, I'll figure it out.
Oh, speaking of, Jane Eyre was actually specifically recommended by Kelly, and A Wrinkle in Time was specifically recommended by Rachel. And then the next book I'm going to talk about, Walden, which is by Henry David Thoreau, I want to say. I think that's who it's by. Is recommended by my friend Danica. Because I had everyone pick like one. I had 6 people pick one classic they would recommend to me, and that's how this list came about. So I'm going to be reading that one in time for spring.
Ooh.
And then the next book, I'm going to be reading another Jane Austen, Emma, which I have seen the YouTube adaptation they did for this book, and it was so funny, and I absolutely enjoyed it, so I can't wait to read this. But also going to be rereading The Secret Garden that month, because Mina Lima is also releasing a pretty edition of it,
The
so
Secret
that's
Garden.
going to happen. The next book was recommended by Hannah, and that book is A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. I forget who the author is right now, but she said it's a book that's right up my alley, so hopefully I will enjoy it as much as she says. And then, back to Jane Austen, Northanger Abbey. And then, we have Mackie's recommendations. They're both going on my list. It's The Witch of Blackbird Pond.
Oh, yeah.
And The Wolves of Willoughby Place.
Willoughby Chase.
Willoughby Chase?
Well,
Willoughby Chase.
Chase and Place.
Chase.
I
The
was-
Wolves of Willoughby Chase.
It's that place.
But yeah, these are Mackie's recommendations, although Rachel seconds The Witch of Blackbird Pond because she also really
Yeah, another Newbery Award winner, and that was cool.
And then
There's a ship in there, and it's really subtle and awesome and cool.
Jane Austen again, Persuasion. I read a YA retelling of this one, and it's also really good. And then Kristen got to pick the very last classic I'm reading, and I saved it for the end of the year because it felt like a winter book, and that book is The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas, which is massive, and that slightly terrifies me, but also like, I really want to read it because Kristen really loves that book. And ending the year with Jane Austen once again, Love and Friendship, and hopefully Lady Susan and Sanditon as well. So yeah, as you can tell, I'm reading a lot of Jane Austen in 2018. In fact, I'm reading all of this. And I'm going to be reading classics that some of the people I love most in the world have recommended to me, so I'm very excited about that. So there you have it. Those are our bookish resolutions for 2018. If you guys have your own bookish resolutions, we'd love to hear about them. We'll cheer you on if you cheer us on, and it'll be like a big cheer party. Which clearly I am a fan of, not so much Max maybe, because he's a little more subtle than I am.
Suddenly I'm thinking of like all of those memes of Shia LaBeouf just going, do it! obviously not that way. His eyes were like, I don't know even know
Anyway,
what it is.
we hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we will see you in the new year. Bye!
Bye.
Bye, Happy New Year!